News now from Nepal, where the Nepalese Army Chief General Gaurav SAV Rana has spoken exclusively to NDTV's Vishnu Som. He has spoken about reports that foreign rescuers have been asked to leave the country.
Effort intensifies in Nepal, and countries from all over the world come in with their relief, with their rescue efforts, and indeed with their goodwill for the people of Nepal. I'm joined by the Nepalese Army Chief to reflect on where things stand in the country at the moment. General Rana, thank you very much for speaking to us. So besides all the forces here, what strikes me the most is the goodwill that Nepal enjoys in the international community. There are civilians here, not just forces. The love that that people have of Nepal, that's remarkable, isn't it?
Undoubtedly, Vishnu. I mean, when you look at it, my perspective is, when a couple of months back, there's this famous travelogue where Nepal was one of the places to visit in your lifetime. 10 places out of 10, Nepal was one. So that also probably is one thing. And then the Nepalese people themselves, by and large, strong-hearted, fun-loving people,
and kind.
And you can see how fast they've they've gotten back on their feet.
Yeah.
In 10 days after, after.
Tell us a little bit more about that. Do you, sir, as the man leading this relief effort, see the people of Nepal in areas getting back on their feet, and if so, how?
I think so. They'll get back on their feet very, very soon. Now, what we are doing now, basically, the army, we are the first responders designated by the government. What we have done now is we've deployed our boys into most of the VDCs also, in the districts and all the village development committees and all that. We've deployed them on ground. And what we are doing is firstly clearing the rubble. Now, we've gone through the rescue phase, and slowly transitioning into the relief phase. And in a time span of 10 days, basic essential, supplies and all have started going. And you may have realized when you came earlier on, the weather was not too friendly too.
It's better now.
It's better now. We had around 3 or 4 days of bad weather, which completely stopped our air rescue efforts and all that.
General, tell me one thing. You made the point that we are moving away from the rescue phase. Do you believe it's time now for international rescuers to progressively move back to their countries and to their bases?
Yes, when you look at it, the basic response that our organization followed, we've got a national disaster response framework. So we worked accordingly. And that framework, it's a SOP, in which you have all these international efforts coming in and all that, including the UN and all. So that kicked off. And as you know, the disaster was overwhelming. So probably little hitches one can expect. But I think that's the little coordination problems and all that. So in those SOPs, they're clear-cut sort of directives where, you slowly go out, and then the state, it's got the resources, the resilience, so it's up to the state to get back on its own feet.
So in terms of a glut of relief materials, there were some reports saying that it was difficult for relief to once it's arrived to actually move out to places. There were food riots which have been reported in some parts, for example, yesterday of Sindhupal Chowk. It's obviously very difficult. The terrain is difficult as well. Is relief getting now to places outside Kathmandu in the way that you would like it?
Yes, it is. It is. When you look at it, we knew it, that there's a choke point. If you look at the airport, all the relief that comes in anywhere in the world, it's through the air flights and all, and usually they're all military aircrafts that come in, any disaster in the world. So we just had around, I think, space for 9 bays to hold planes. That too, you had to have the commercial airlines going on. So that was a little bit of a hiccup over there, but we got that in place. And yes, as in all other disasters, no one really knows what is the first essential item that is required.
Right.
So you had that problem, but I think that's being sorted out, and priority items are going out to the villages. And the distribution system, it's very difficult. Look at Nepal and the geography. One can't expect the government or any people providing the assistance to reach that stuff to every door. So you've got to have people coming in and all that. And I think in the basic framework, we've gone to in some districts and all. In all district headquarters, we are dumping the material, and the outreach is going out slowly.
Yeah. So let's just talk briefly about the Indian contribution over here. You had our National Security Advisor, Mr. Doval, meet you a few days back, as also our Foreign Secretary. What is the essential message that Delhi is trying to convey to you, and what is the message that you have sort of conveyed to them about how things can work together?
You see, we've got very, very old and very special, unparalleled relationships between the Nepalese Army and the Indian Army also. I'm an honorary general of the Indian Army too. Apart from that, people to people and the government level relationships are also superb. The thing was the action that we, the assistance that we received from India was tremendous, tremendous, outstanding. They were the first responders, and luckily, we were working on a framework. In fact, the military, we have a bilateral security arrangement thing going on, and we were working on our needs assessment.
Right. And so you don't believe that there is this talk of some sort of a big brotherly attitude among India and its helpers over here? Do you believe this is an unseemly controversy, or do you believe it's nothing at all?
I think it's inconsequential. I think it's nothing. It has no consequence whatsoever. I believe India is totally genuine and real friends of Nepal, and they've shown it on the ground. And it's just some people who are talking about inconsequential matters when they should be talking about uniting and getting on with helping the people who have been affected.
Yeah. Last question, sir. Tell us about the aid effort from other countries, from across the world, from China in the east to the United States in the west. You've had incredible help coming in. Tell us about that effort, how that's helped.
That effort's also been tremendous. You've got different phases. The first phase is the rescue. Basically, the Nepalese army is totally a very professional, well-trained and effective army. One of the problems we have is we are under-resourced. So that is where, we came in and said, in case a major mega disaster occurs, then we need certain inputs to fill in our gaps. So we had the rescue teams coming in. The NDRF people are around. I see them over here. They were very effective. And other rescue teams. We've had 13 countries sending their military rescue teams and all. Then the rest, the civilians also came. So it's a process, a phase-wise process, after a mega disaster to get back on the feet. And, that is shaping up very, very sort of effectively.
So I must ask you, now that you are moving into the relief phase, there will also be a rebuilding phase that will happen later on. I know the government of Nepal is trying to raise in excess of $2 billion. But see, sir, realistically, rebuilding parts of a city as large as Kathmandu, it'll be phenomenally expensive. Is the government, are you looking ahead at that process? Do you have any initial thoughts?
Yes, I think the government and even the social workers and everyone, all Nepalese are thinking about rebuilding. And that is something very, very encouraging, just after 10 days. And I was just talking in Sanko, I was talking with the local villagers, and I told them, look, take heart. There was a huge earthquake in 1934. Monuments, houses were razed. Now, it's the same thing. From 1934, we built.
And you're going to have to build again.
And we'll have to build again, and I think we will do that in due time.
Right. Well, General, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Very kind of you.
Well, that's the Nepalese Army Chief telling us about the road ahead. It's going to be a long road ahead, but the people of Nepal, he's convinced, will be back on their feet in double quick time.